Hello everyone, Your Beliefs here, and I am normally a streamer. I make some YouTube content. I do a lot of wrestling stuff, wrestling video games for one thing. If you look on my channel, I've played many of the old wrestling games. I am a big wrestling fan, and so when Fight Forever, finally came out, I was excited to play it because why not? I like good games. I like good wrestling games. And so when they said we were going to be anti-WWE, we're going to go back to the more No Mercy style from the past, I thought, sure, why not? Don't try to be like WWE. You be you. And basically, I didn't grow up with the... I know that the No Mercy and the Aki games were really big for people back in the day. I did not have a Nintendo 64. I had a PlayStation. So while everyone was doing like World Tour and 2000 and No Mercy, I was playing, Attitude and SmackDown. So I don't have any real nostalgic feelings for this game or for the Aki games. But I'm like, okay, whatever. And I have gone back and played them, but they were like kind of emulated versions, which weren't quite as good. And also, I don't like the Nintendo 64 controller. I mean, I'm sorry. I think it's arguably the worst controller scheme ever devised. I forgot to put that sound drop in, but, tell me when I'm telling lies. And speaking of lies, actually, I'll give them this. They didn't lie to us, but they really hid things with this. But let's get into... I don't want to be overly negative on this whole thing. Like, I'll admit, like, the regular gameplay of this, like, it's not bad. I can't say this isn't fun. And I like that we can just, do this. Let's have Adam Cole... Oh, and I'll get into my other comments of what I'm thinking here in a minute, but like I like that you can just have Adam Cole fight Britt Baker. Okay, already I need to get into one thing about this. Like, where are my options? Why is there no time limit? Why is there no conditions for winning? Why are we just having the general menu here? Why can't I customize this game at all? I mean, yeah, you can select some arenas, but first of all, this one doesn't exist anymore. This has been completely renovated. Didn't they change everything recently? They did a whole big revamp when they got that new producer from WWE, which somehow, though, has made the show even worse.
This bout is set for one fall.
Man, this should be one hell of a singles match.
Wow, JR.
Making his way to the ring, Adam Cole. And his opponent, Dr. Britt Baker.
First match in 70... How many days is that? Whoa. 738,711. Have we even had that many days in existence? Whoa. Okay, immediately something's missing here. Where's the commentary? Now, I know for some people it might be considered a good thing because the commentators in this game or rather the AEW commentators aren't the best out there. That's not me saying that WWE is any better. But like, come on, how hard would it have been to fucking get Excalibur and Taz in a room for like, a couple of hours? Like, I mean, even WWE or WWF Attitude had commentary. And again, I'm not expecting, the same level, but like, and you don't even really have music. You have to go and like boost. All it does is use the jukebox. Some people were confused. They thought that the game didn't have any match music. You actually can do that. Not that they make it obvious, though. You need to go turn on the offline June bot. I mean, I'm sure there's more of a art to this game, but it really feels like I'm just pushing buttons. Oh! Because again, it's different.
The winner of this match, Adam Cole.
Wow, what an amazing match. And we got to call it.
Wait, did they add that back? Okay, so that's a weird thing here that I wasn't expecting. Let me explain what I mean. Okay, so now we're going to jump to crazy, and I apologize in advance. Streamlabs is being weird right now, and it's not letting me do proper resizing of stuff, so again, I apologize profusely because I hate when shit looks unprofessional, which is what we're going to, one of the main things here. So give me 1 second here. So I captured some footage earlier. You see this here? I captured this footage. This was when I did a ladder match, right? This was like kind of a comparison thing that I had. So first of all, this match is for the TNT title. This was a TNT title match. Notice something missing? Yeah, the fucking TNT title. This is the Double or Nothing chip, which you're supposed to like cash in, I think, for a title opportunity, but that's not really how it works, so I don't understand what this is. But anyway, so the belt isn't even being held up in this title match. Like, literally, that's it. That's it. That's it. Meanwhile, let's see what happens. Well, also, you saw those intros, right? Or let's even just look also at what happens. Here's how Cody's introduced.
This will be no exception.
Introducing the challenger is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Okay. Meanwhile, the music isn't playing here just because of copyright, but like.
Introducing the challenger from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 220 pounds, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
So we saw how the finish was. Let's look at what happens when you. Okay, first of all, and this is in 2K23. At least, first of all, there's actually a belt there. The actual title is there.
Move here, Cole. Let's see if it pays off. He got him. Cody Rhodes is the new champion. Here's your winner and new WWE Intercontinental Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Like, I get the whole thing of like, oh, you need to have the good gameplay. It's like, I'm sorry, but just like wrestling isn't just about what's going on in the ring, the same goes here. Like, you can't even go and announce like the winner all the time. I guess it only works in certain conditions that you get an actual announcement, as you saw earlier. I don't watch AEW stuff at all, but the trailer makes it seem like it's the best. Well, I mean, you don't want it to portray it to be like the worst thing. But like, to me, the main unique selling point of this game is just that it has a different gameplay style. Which, if that's enough for you, and listen, I've got to say this up front, like the people, because I'm going to be posting this to YouTube later. If you like this game, if you bought the game full price and everything like that, and you're happy with your purchase, fantastic, good for you. I'm not here to change your mind because clearly it's already made up. My main thing is actually, but if I could speak to you, you people who bought the game and like it, I'm worried. I'm worried that, like, because the one thing that people say is, or in defense of this game so far, is, oh, well, they're going to add the stuff later. This is like a multi-year thing. They're not going to just go and release a new game every year. Well, okay, that sounds fine. But from what I've seen already, I don't have much faith in that. Do you think? No, I know it's rushed. There is no doubt in my mind this game is rushed. And I'll go into some of the stuff here, too. I have a few... we'll get to this later, but just a little preview here. Oops, no, I don't want to zoom in on that. AEW Yuke's butting heads over the video game. Kenny Omega discusses how the thing was delayed. When I get to this interview, you guys are going to be like, you got to be kidding me. Is the roster decent? No, it's not. The roster kind of sucks. Well, I should probably help. It would help if I turned on my... I guess I don't really need that. I can just do it through here. Actually, give me a second here. Here's another point that I need to get to with this. Like, what is with this art? Why do we have three... I should go into also as well. I'm a very, like... When I see, like, inefficiencies or, like... My job is to basically pay attention to detail. I'm a developer. I do programming stuff, but a lot of it is... It's stuff for clients. So I need to be keen on what they specifically want and what is for their experience. So this stuff always sticks out to me. Like, I have no issue with the things not looking as detailed or whatever, but, like, why do we have inconsistent art styles? Why do we have some that look great and some that just look like utter shit? Like, why does Dustin look so good, but Jade looks awful? And again, why does Jeff Hardy look great? But Jungle Boy, so, they either look good, they either look decent, or like creator wrestlers, or just flat out bad. Or this thing tier 2. What's up with Nick Jackson's face? And like, what's up with CM Punk's face? What's with this goofy smirk he has? I thought Christian was Zack Ryder. Yeah, like, these don't look good. But, and to me, it has to go with the optics here. It's optics and perception of reality, and, you know, perception. Perception is reality. The perception here is that this looks like, is that this is a joke. Okay, here's my question. Tell me what makes more sense. This thing here, where you just had these, you had to go and pre-render these character. Oh yeah, God, look at this one. Look how awful this one looks. Look at Nyla Rose. What is this? What is wrong with her face? Like, I mean, that model looks okay, but like, look at this. Like she just looks awful. And again, Nick Jackson looks awful. And I'm not even a Nick Jackson fan. Like, why would they allow us? Oh God, look at this one too. Look at, this is a fucking WWE 2K14 creator wrestler. That's what this character is. Or that's what this avatar is. Yeah, she looks like a creator wrestler from a better wrestling game. Now, here's my question. These are these, don't worry about these other ones. But I mean, literally, this looks like Rebecca Chambers, or whatever that girl's name was from Resident Evil 0. That's who this looks like. And also, to go back to the roster, why is she in this game? Like, I get that the roster is dated, so I can understand them not getting certain people or whatever. But like Yuka's, Saka's, whatever, Abaddon, are the finishers at least devastating? I mean, they look fine. I mean, they're just there though. But again, like Abaddon, why do we have Abaddon in this game? She was never like a thing. She really wasn't. You know, not to, you know, besmirch her great name. You know, do we really need Scorpio Sky? But okay, so ask me what you think makes more sense. Like, does it... We've seen how this looks with all these different character model things that don't really make any sense and crap like that. What makes more sense? This? Or would it make more sense to just hire a professional photographer and then just send a mass email out to everyone, hey, come to Daly's place for the taping tonight and come in all your gear and you're fucking getting, because we're taking photos. That's what WWE does. And not just, and it's not as a flex, it's because it makes more sense. Why wouldn't you go and just take pictures of everyone? Why would you waste time rendering these models, which all look horrible in the first place? At the very least, they look inconsistent. I mean, okay, it varies on a per character basis, but it's inconsistent. Like, why not just take pictures? And we're missing so many other people. There's no Jamie Hayter. There's no... Oh, thanks, Callum. Yeah, we don't have any of the new... We don't have Jay White. We don't have... There's just so many people not in here. But, okay, let's... You know... The roster has to be cut off at some point. So fair enough. And the delays happened, which didn't help things either. But yeah, the roster isn't great. But you could go and say like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll just create my own characters, which makes sense. But then you get to the fucking create a wrestler mode. And my God. I'll just take, let's take the title holder here. Like, this is like insultingly bad, in my opinion. This creator wrestler is so underbaked. Like, if this was really robust, I wouldn't be complaining as much. It's like, okay, well, you can just, because that's what you do with these games. You find out who you don't have, and then you just go and make them. But between, like, okay, this is Ring Attire. There's very few things, there's not a lot of stuff you can pick from, for one thing. Don't worry about the thing with, like, the currency. You earn currency so much that that's not really relevant. Oh yeah, and tell me if this is stupid. Okay, you can have face paint, but you can't modify the color of the paint. Can't even download people. Well, I'm not surprised. I'll give them a pass. Like, I'll give them a pass on the not having video uploads and a whole thing. That's a whole infrastructure. Like, that takes time. But like that, I'll give them that pass. And also, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you can just have, you know, if you can easily replicate it, that's kind of all that matters. And we can't hold them to the same standard, being able to upload stuff and things like that. But anyways, get back to the face paint though. You can't specify, or you can't even alter the color of the paint. They just have, oh, face paint. And as far as, let's get back to the profile here. You got 4 face types. That's it. 4 face types. 4 eye types. Got a couple of eyebrows. And wow, look at all these hairstyles. What were they thinking and doing? Well, I got some ideas. And look at this thing with the body type. You basically only have like these things. And then you see body settings. Oh, I can just modify the weight to be whatever I want. First of all, does this look like a 180-pound woman? I mean, maybe if they're like 5'2" or something. Okay, let's see what a 500-pound woman looks like in this game. Wait, did it save it? Make it Chantel. Like, that's the thing. You can't even make it Chantel. And also, I'm sorry, which women... Like, and also, this weight thing makes no sense either. Whatever. I'll just leave it like that. And it doesn't get much better. Like, I'm not going to go into every single thing. Let's see. Oh, dear. Are you trying to make cat? Oh yeah, I need to make one thing though, one comment though about the whole Ukes thing. Like, I don't know if this was... Okay, so... Like, I know people have said like, oh, but Ukes has made all these wrestling games in the past. And, you know, they should know what they're doing here. Okay, well, first of all, because they made all those 2K games and all the PlayStation games, yada, yada, yada. Well, first of all, it's not the same Ukes. Yeah, it's not the same Ukes anymore. Secondly, all that stuff, that was... WWE owned that, or 2K, whatever. The publisher owned all that. So when Ukes stopped making WWE games, they had to get... Unless they had, like, internal documentation or something, all those assets and all the knowledge bases and everything went to 2K. They have nothing that they can go off of, and they can't use any of that shit because then WWE... or 2K, whoever, could sue them for reusing, you know, proprietary stuff or their copyrighted material in this game. And this game was also, it was built from scratch. It was built with Unreal. They didn't use even the same engine as 2K. But then here's my question then. If you can't use the same stuff that the 2K thing did, and it's a completely new engine that Ukes isn't familiar with, then why the fuck did you even hire Ukes in the first place to make this game? Why? Did you just think because they made the other games that somehow they would be better at making this? And also, lest we forget, Ukes made the other games. They didn't make the Aki games. Kenny Omega actually, at least if, and I have no reason to doubt what he's saying, Matt McMuscles mentioned when he did a review of this, which I think was pretty overblown, or maybe a bit too nice to this game. But he said that originally Kenny tried to get the old Aki team back together. But what he found was, and it shouldn't have been surprising considering the game came out fucking... Well, though, to be fair, they did also make the Def Jam games. We can't forget that. Eventually, long story short, the Aki team is disbanded. They're not together anymore. Aki now mainly does... from what I was told, like mobile games and shit like that. But he was able to get like one of the directors to work on it. Or like work in some sort of a role. And then they got Ukes involved because they had just come fresh off of not making any more WWE games because they just didn't like doing them anymore. Rather than like working with WWE because they're making new games every year. They can't really build upon it. They got to deal with the shit that's been there for years. Now, let's get to some other things, though. This is going to be very pedantic and nitpicking, but and normally I wouldn't go into this much detail or complain to my level, but here's my thing, though, folks. This game costs $60 fucking dollars. or it's a full price game. You do not get the same passes that you would if this was like a $30 game or a Kickstarter game. And speaking of Kickstarter game, wait till you see what I show you later, what they're building over there versus this. Like, I'm sorry, like, can you make it a full, like, a direct comparison to WWE 2K? No, obviously you can't. But if you're trying to bring in new players or something, or you're obviously trying to get new fans, you need to, like, if you're trying to get new people, all they know is, for the most part, is what the 2K games are. Like, so they're going to be expecting a number of things that this game does not have at all. Oops, I didn't want to. Oh, okay. It's like, it's all about optics. It's like this game was developed in a bubble. Like, they completely forgot what progress had been made over the past years with making video games, with wrestling video games. But here's where I started getting annoyed at just the utter, like, okay, so let's look at this entrance motion thing. So obviously you have some of the people in the game. So obviously, yeah, you can pick all these other stars here. But now, what the fuck is this? What is General Female 1? What is General Female? What the fuck are these? What is General Female? No, it's about like 10 seconds. What are these? General Male? Like, I get, like obviously when you play, like, even in WWE, if you're referencing someone who's not in the company, you can't say, you know, Kenny Omega. But they have, I'm going to jump over this in a minute. Like, what is this? General Male 15, General Male 14.
What?
Look how many of these there are. We're up to 50, folks. We're going higher than 50. Oh yeah, also, folks, I want you to keep in mind something. Microtrans. No, Casper, this is in-game currency. You can earn this just by playing the game. This isn't a... no, this isn't... They're not nickel and diming you there. No, this is all in-game currency. Don't worry about that. There's 75 people who they couldn't be bothered to put a fucking description. You could have done this in like a day. Like, seriously. So, like, in WWE, they have a similar thing too, but, like, you know, where they don't name exactly what the thing is. But, like, you can see, though, like, okay, Alpha Omega is going to be Kenny Omega. Amazing Glow, Naomi. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I guess Beast from the East, Bam Bam Bigelow. Beefcake Barber. I mean, come on. Like, see, these, even if you don't know, you can at least somewhat infer to what these are. You know, Bloody Scorpion, Sting Wolfpack, Break the Walls. Like, at least they have names. But then when I looked at, so then I was, I mean, even though I still needed this list for some of them, at least you can still get an idea of what they are or what they look like. And what's his name? Jeff Gertzman, you know, the former guy from GameSpot and Giant Bomb. He's a huge wrestling fan and really likes these games. He was pointing out, like, all he wanted to do was get someone to do a military salute. He couldn't figure out who the fuck who it was, because all it was just general everything. So, like, look at this. Like, even these guys, this is the same website. The SmackDown Hotel. Even these guys couldn't figure out who all these things are. Because all it is just general. Like, how hard it would have been to be able to, like, for this guy, my time is now. Okay, or just, you can't see this. Bray Wyatt, Demon, whatever the fuck his name was on the thing. Gold Dust. Okay, Old Gold. Rhino. Gore. MVP2, most valuable player. The American Dream. Dusty Rhodes. The Hunter's Helmsley, The Other Game. Yokozuna, Banzai. Cesaro, what the fuck's his country name again? Like that. Ric Flair, Woo. RVD, Whole effing show. Or One of a Kind. Sting, like, see? Like, how hard would it have been for them to put this in? Why can't they just go and give us some hints? Why is everything so vague? Like, what were they doing? Which then brings to, well, what were they doing this entire time? Because let's just quickly jump back to the game now. So the creative mode sucks. You can't easily go and recreate the people who are missing. Like, it would be one thing... no. Like, it'd be one thing if it was really complete and they threw in so much stuff so you could easily go and create a Jeff Jarrett, a Jay Lethal, or just fucking anyone else on the roster, Jamie Hayter, things like that. But since that mode sucks, that anyone that you make is not going to be as good. And that's a very funny thing too. Like, and to get back to one of the biggest complaints I have is just the lack of game modes in here. Okay, we have one-on-one, normal, lights out, and falls count anywhere. I'm sorry, what really is the fucking difference between a lights out match and a falls count anywhere match? Aren't they both just no disqualification? Let me just see. I'm not going to do a full match. I just want to check one thing. Yeah, come on. Yeah, why not? Let these fuckers fight again. We're not going to actually fight. Okay, DQ off, rope breaks off, countouts off. Okay. So that's falls count anywhere. All those things are off. Lights out match. It's the same match. Or at least it's the same rules. Like, what makes this any different? Someone's a member of the Cult of Cornet, Craig.
And his opponent, Moxley.
Founding member of the BBC. Also, where's Wild Thing? Okay, so if I had to guess, the difference is you get weapons here. Well, you know what? Let's play this. Let's do a little... Oh, Moxley can. That's it. He's going to use... Oh, Jesus Christ. They do it. They don't even use the bat right. That's everything, too. Why is it you let it go after 2 hits? Well, at least he uses a sledgehammer properly. Who the fuck would hit someone? Who the fuck hits someone with a crowbar like that? I mean, it looks stupid enough when they do like that with the bat with a crowbar. Oh, a skateboard, okay. But here's another question too. Why can't I pick what weapon comes out?
Now's your chance.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. A great fucking point here. Hold on, I need to go and move and just hide this for 1 second. Why is William Regal here? Why is he here? Like, would it have been that big of a deal to go, like, okay, after he left, should the first phone call been to, like, hey, get a picture of fucking Excalibur and get him in the recording studio to record the 100 or so lines that Regal did? Like, why would you keep him in there? Oh, fuck, it wiped out all the chat. Anyways, I want to actually see this. Alright, it's time to bleed. Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. Oh! Like, this is okay, but, like, oh! Meanwhile, of course, it doesn't sell it. Oh! I'm doing the one-winged fairy on this. Ooh, maybe not. Oh! And yes, I know it's the one-winged angel, but it's having some fun. Isn't that the point of this game, to have fun? Like, I don't mind this. Like, I would love... Like, wouldn't it be great to see, like, fucking DSP and fucking Wings of Redemption fighting in a thing like this? They're all covered and bloody and shit. Oh, he's gonna submit. I doesn't know it. That's everything, too. Okay, if you want to have a mash thing, I have no problem with that. But at least go and tell me how I'm doing. Okay, Moxley, if you're not bleeding, it's not a Moxley match. And, like, how hard would it have been to get Excalibur to even, like, even if you just had him calling out the moves? I love how long the blood stays on the mat. Oh, shit. What the fuck did he just do? Did he just jump back first into the thumbtacks almost? See, like, this is, like, this is fun. Like, if this game had literally zero redeeming qualities, I wouldn't even bother making this thing, but it does. You know, there's some, you know, there's definitely some high points.
1, 2, 3.
Ooh, if you say so.
The winner of this match,
Okay, but you know there's something else that's missing? Well, there's a whole list of things missing, but there's no 3-on-3. Actually, let me just get the fucking list here that I made. Okay, yeah, here's what was missing. So there's no 3-ways. There's no 3v3. There's no 4v4. So there's no Survivor Series style match, or technically that's a different thing, but okay, so there's no handicap matches, there's no steel cage matches, there's no tables matches, there's no regular battle royals, there's no backstage brawls, there's no last man standing matches, there's no I Quit match, there's no submission matches, there's no Iron Man matches, there's no blood and guts, there's no anarchy in the arena. Like,
What?
oh yeah, there's no create a title, there's no create a pay-per-view, there's no create a show. Like, all those things are not here. Yeah, like, you can't even create the missing titles that the company has. Oh, you want Orange Cassidy as international champion? Well, tough shit. Like, you can literally recreate AEW, and this is, like, the biggest complaint. And this is one of my biggest things about this, is that you can get a better AEW wrestling experience playing fucking WWE 2K. And, you know, tell me when I'm telling lies. Because, I mean, even so, like, with the crazy, AEW matches are not like what are in this game. Okay, we can all make the joke of, oh, they're like video game characters, but even they don't play like this, or fight like this. The Casino Battle Royal thing is just stupid. Because you can only have 4 people in the ring at one time. So that's completely limited. Oh yeah, let's get into this thing here too. The exploding barbed wire match. Because they were touting this like as some big thing. Let's have Tay Mello Conte versus her man.
The following contest is an exploding barbed wire death match.
Can you believe an exploding barbed wire death match right here, right now?
Making her way
Hey,
to the
you
ring.
want another? Oh my god, she looks even worse in motion. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, she looks.
And
That's
her
awful.
opponent, they call him the Spanish God.
If I were her, I would be pissed. I would not want my daughter, my soon-to-be-born daughter, to see me like this. Okay. Here's one question. Why the fuck is it a 2-minute timer? Why can't I adjust that? How hard would it have been to just say, okay, select how long you want the thing to be? Into the ropes, you asshole. Whoa!
What?
Oh. Well, no, like... Well, no, here's how, from my understanding, because I'm not a big... Japanese deathmatch connoisseur. But from the ones that I've seen, which would be 2 of them, which would be the one that AEW had, which is what this is based off of. And then I saw the one with Anita and Terry Funk. Like, well, hold on, you'll see. But I also love how like explosions are going on his back. He's not selling it at all. Okay, there we go. Why isn't the crowd counting down? 4, 3. Jesus. Okay, so how the deathmatch is supposed to work, that's not what's supposed to happen. Or at least if you go to how AEW does it, or did it that time, you're supposed to win the match and leave before the ring explodes. The idea is beat your opponent, leave them there, and then the ring explodes and they get fucked up. Which was why they had the thing when, you know, Moxley's left laying in the ring, and then Eddie Kingston ran into the ring to cover him up, protect him from the explosion. Of course, why the fuck he didn't pull him out, I don't know. But I guess they did that as an homage to what happened with Onita, when Onita and Terry Funk fought in one of these things. I can't play it here. You can look it up on YouTube. It's there. If I play it here, I'm gonna get, you know, claimed or taken down. But yeah, you're not supposed to keep wrestling afterwards. Like, okay, so what was the point of that? Okay, I'm not even gonna touch it. I was kind of hoping she was gonna kick out.
The winner of this match, they call him the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara.
Man, what a match. I'm so glad I was here to call it.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what JR said? What a great match. I'm glad I was here to call it. No, you weren't, JR. You were not there to call the match. No one was there to call the match. but also like it's like, come on, like why does he sound so awful when he delivers all these lines? Like, why wasn't the engineer going to be like, yeah, can we try that one more time? Like, he just sounds so out of it. And yeah, I get that he's older now, but I mean, come on, he can still, you know, I think he's, and if he can't do it, then don't make him do it. No, I don't think WWE's ever going to do the intergender stuff again. So we have these goofy modes. We have modes completely missing. But we have mini games. Ooh. Let's do chip gather. What's that? Can't you do... Oh, okay, random. Yes, let's have Aubrey. Why not? Let's have Don Stevens join us. Oh, yeah, and for anyone here who... or be watching this later, yes, I'm a Cornette guy, but that's completely irrelevant. Okay, I don't shit on AEW. Like, whoa. Like, I wanted this game to just be the best game could possibly be. And it's not. Yeah, I know there's more. Yay. I can't do the Elite versus CMFTR, but I can do this. And again, like, I don't have an issue with this being in the game. Whoa. But I do when it's this versus, you know, like fucking anything else that has been in wrestling games for like more than a decade. Yay. Chip gather. What's that? So just remember, they thought that minigames were more important than steel cage matches. They thought minigames were more important than a robust creator wrestler. They thought that minigames were better than announcing, because another thing too, do you notice too, when I did the comparison of Cody's entrance in WWE and AEW, do you notice what they did that they don't mention here? There's no mention of count or weight. So what sounds better? You know, coming down the aisle, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, or, you know, coming down the aisle from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 227 pounds, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Like, that's what we're used to. Like, and again, I've been playing wrestling games like fucking forever. I remember playing the first WrestleMania game. When I say WrestleMania, I don't mean the fucking arcade game that came out. I mean fucking the Nintendo one for that Acclaim made. As far as the Road to Elite goes, like, I really don't care for it. I'm not mad that it's in or that it's not as good as people said thought it would be. To me, like, it just kind of is what it is. And another thing I have to mention about the custom wrestlers is that apparently, like, I was confused at one point. I thought that you had to put them through Road to Elite before you could really use them. That's not the case. But when you make these creator wrestlers, they're horribly underpowered. Like, you basically have to do Road to... Also, why is it Road to Elite? Shouldn't it be Road to the Elite? Like, what do you mean Road to Elite? What does that mean? Like, you speak in riddles, Sahib. Oh, and this shop is just like... And again, why do these things just have generic names on them? Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong thing here. You can throw in your own joke there. And again, like, why are these here? Again, I don't have a problem with these coming in eventually. Like, if they went and they were to say, like, hey, we're going to have, like, the crazy arena drop where all this crazy shit's in there, but they did it, like, a couple things down the road. Okay, cool. But, I mean, I'm sorry. Hey, what the fuck is this? And again, just like fire up victory pose. Oh boy, I'm really saving up my money for victory pose 39. Which I don't even know who the fuck that is. Ooh, what's victory pose 20? Like, again, they couldn't be fucked to actually go and say, like even if this doesn't belong to someone. Oh gee, I wonder. Yeah. Yeah, again, general mail. Like, WWE doesn't own these things. You can get around them. Yeah. There, Goldberg. Just say Streak Man. Or, whatever. You can think of some other things. And also, how come these things have, like, these ratings on them? See how it says down there, rare? Like, why am I seeing rare, common, legendary? Like, what are we, fucking Fortnite? Like, this isn't a looter. This isn't a loot. Yeah, see, uncommon. Like, what does that even mean? Uncommon, rare. What does that mean? Well, yeah, you'd think a battle pass, but there's no battle pass. And there's no loot boxes. I think a battle pass is coming soon. If they put a battle pass in this game, these guys are fucking insane. Okay, and so, like I said, we have to think of all the stuff that's here and what had to be sacrificed to get what we have. We don't have Steel Cage. All those things I didn't... Is Brody? Yeah, he's in this. Brody Lee is here. Oh yeah, another thing you can't have is tournaments. Here's the tournaments that AEW has had. AEW Tag Team Championship Tournament. AEW World Championship Number 1 Contender Tournament. TNT Championship Tournament. Women's Tag Team Cup Tournament, The Deadly Draw. AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament from 2020. AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament. AEW World Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament. AEW Championship Eliminator Tournament 2021. TBS Championship Tournament. Owen Hart Cup 2022. AEW All-Atlantic Championship Tournament. AEW Interim World Championship Eliminator Series. Okay, you get the fucking point. There's been like 12 tournaments so far, but you can't make one of your own. You can't... Owen Hart's in the game. You can't have a fucking Owen Hart tournament. And you can't even make the Owen Hart belt in the fucking... But in the game that Owen Hart is officially in. Tell me when I'm telling lies. And am I wrong to be pissed about that in this $60 full-priced game? And to also go back to the thing of like the entrances, the argument of like, oh, well, entrances aren't that important. Bull fucking shit. Entrances are not important. That sounds pretty stupid. Yeah. The entrance things suck. Let's not act like Tony Khan and AEW doesn't care about entrances, okay? Because I don't think Tony Khan be opening up him or his dad's wallet to pay for, you know, Baltimore, Rancid, you know, whoever's saying Wild Fang, you know, and the Orange Cassidy's theme, like, and let's not forget that at Forbidden Door, he paid. Let me get the quote here. What Tony Khan paid. it was a so for those who missed Forbidden Door, Bryan Danielson had to come out to the final countdown from Europe. You know, it's the final countdown. That one. Like, he had tried to get it, but there was rights issues. Like, they just, for whatever reason, Europe doesn't like licensing out the song, or the owners don't, without like an absorbing some. I don't know why. It's literally leaving money on the table. But anyways, so he got it at Forbidden Door. Tony Khan said it was a very expensive one-night thing, and it was as expensive as a wrestler's contract, but it was worth it, and I thought it added to the show. So that just proves. And also, lest we forget, Kenny Omega, he's had some of the craziest entrances. Yeah, Carry On Wayward Son, but also Omega, for fuck's sake, on like his last match, I think the one when he fought, let me get the Omega came out, he had this whole thing set up in the background, right? And he wasn't dressed up for it. For those who played Undertale, like, you know, the last fight on the pacifist route where you fight, sorry, spoilers, folks, you fight as Azrael or whatever the daughter or the missing son was, and like it plays that big dramatic music. He had that remade. Not only was it remade, he had Toby Fox fucking go and program a whole battle scene behind him playing on the screen for his fucking entrance. So again, don't tell me, no, it wasn't against Will Ospreay. It was a Japanese wrestler. Yeah, he literally came out to the whole big show. So the idea that they didn't recognize that wrestling fans would want to have good entrances. And again, I get it. I'm not looking for, there's a wide gulf between like what this game has and what 2K has. But within that gulf, there's plenty of good. Like, you don't have to hit WWE. Like, if let's say this is a 2 and WWE is an 8, there's a wide range between there that they could hit, and it would be better than what this is. So I could rant on and on about this, but it's kind of, let me get to my theory about all this. So like, let's first look here. This is AEW's gaming channel. AEW Games, it's verified, it's their official thing. Like, this doesn't just have Fight Forever stuff. Sometimes they do game things as well. But you know what? We can actually go to just the Fight Forever stuff. There's 29 videos here. Now, this you have to consider, like, they're... Like, so they had announced the game had come out, like, a while ago or whatever. Like, look just these random things here. Like, what were they ever releasing all this time? It was just like entrances and like random fights that these people would do. I'm just trying to avoid some copyright stuff here. Fuck off. Okay, first of all, this looks... it looks like we have a bit of a downgrade in quality, pal. But, like, that's basically all these things were. It's just trailers and character spotlights that lasted 30 seconds. If you're showing off this little in the hype up to your big game, something's going wrong. Like, you need to have more footage than this. And why aren't you going and talking about, you know, all the different shit going on in it? And say you just have these random reveals, which, by the way, a bunch came up, like, they just kind of, like, started and stopped and start up again. And, like, really fucking Abaddon. Again, I'm sure she's a nice girl, but keep in mind, we don't have the Acclaimed in this game, for Christ's sake. And they've been around since almost day one. They didn't think people would want to play as the Acclaimed. I mean, for God's sakes, Billy Gunn, daddy ass. Billy Gunn was at the fucking first Battle Royale that they did, in their first pay-per-view. You know, the one to determine who would be number one contender for their new title. Yeah, he was in that, but he's not in this game. Oh yeah, this thing here too. This is so fucked up. Like this whole Matt Hardy thing. I'm not talking about with him and Cornette. I'm talking about with they. Fuck the idea of Cornette and Last doing him dirty. AEW did him dirty. They fucking broke up the Hardy Boys. They pretty much locked away Matt Hardy. You can't play as one of the greatest tag teams of all time in the game of the company they're both in. If you didn't pre-order it, you have to pay extra for Matt Hardy. Imagine if WWE did that. Imagine if like they had a Rockers thing, or like in some universe the Rockers were still together. Again, just bear with me here. And then Shawn Michaels is in the game, but Marty Jannetty is separate. Like, no. Like what? Or like the Hart Foundation. Brett's in the game, but Jim isn't. Jim Neidhart is extra, or is a bonus, or you have to buy him later. Like, why are you breaking up tag teams? And why are you picking like one versus the other? And also what you're saying, and let's not forget, folks, Matt's been in the company longer than Jeff has. Matt came first as he got let go during that, you know, when they kept laying off people to trim the fat for the sale. And then Jeff came on later after WWE said, you know, piss in a cup, pal. And he said no. And then they said, okay, go piss up a rope then. Yeah, Matt's had more things than Jeff. And also, Matt never went to fucking jail. Or, you know, was caught drunk driving. They kept the... I mean, okay, you can argue Jeff is the bigger draw. But why are you separating the Hardy Boys? Or the Hardys, whatever the hell they're calling them here. Like, you wouldn't do that to the Young Bucks. And also, speaking of the thing, too, what was their logic behind paywalling their fucking tag team champions? FTR is DLC. I don't give a shit if it's day one DLC. They're the tag champions. You know what you do? Then you make a phone call and you say, no, change of plans. They're in the, like, let it be a day one patch. Not day one DLC. It's a day one patch. Patch them into the game because I need to make sure that at least my fucking tag team champions in the game. Because you can't have the women's champion in the game because, you know, Jamie Hayter is gone or is not even in this. I mean, I guess it kind of worked out because Statlander ended up winning it, like, I think right beforehand. But, like, really, you paywalled arguably the greatest tag team in the world, and they were your tag team champions when the game came out. Again, imagine WWE did that. Imagine if the Usos were paid DLC. People would lose their fucking minds. Although, actually, they would lose their minds at first, but then they'd say, oh, well, who cares? I can just make them in the game. You can't just easily do that here. You saw how lacking of customization, the lack of modes and detail that you can do. So, and not only that, but then you have, if you really want to be serious with them, you have to then put them through the elite mode. So, now we get to play Matt McMuscles and say, what happened? It's clearly something did. So, it looks like, I remember reading this story a while ago. AEW Yuke's butting head over AEW video game. Sorry, going into a Young Yang mode here. Yeah. SGO has learned that there's been a lot of discourse between the teams from AEW games and Yuke's. Though that's not unheard of for video game development, especially for a brand new title, this has been far from positive. Sorry, I keep scrolling. Sources indicate the relationship between Yuke's and AEW, specifically Kenny Omega, isn't in the best place at the moment. According to those close to the game's development, Omega has found himself frustrated and hating working with Ukes. I'll tell you what, pal, the feeling was, I'm willing to guarantee you, the feeling was mutual amongst the people who actually had to program this. One person even claimed that it has come across at times like Ukes was trying to, quote, take advantage of an inexperienced Omega in his position. No, they weren't trying to take advantage of him. They were trying to get him to understand logic and how playing video games and making video games are two completely different things. There have been listen to this. There have been multiple instances of arguments over the game's direction, as well as constraints on development. AEW has invested significant money into development, but the game is way over budget at this point. This is considered over budget. It even required extra investment, but the specific amount wasn't mentioned. These budget issues have led to a number of features of the game either being less than originally planned or cut altogether. You think? And this is them talking about that they wanted DLC, but then Ukes was like, listen, pal, if you want DLC, you need to, like, you know, we need to sign an agreement here. Because of how things have gone during development, there are some on both sides of the fence believe this may be a one-and-done arrangement between AEW and Ukes. If it can be repaired, it can be repaired, but it comes down to desire, said one on the relationship between the two. If either side doesn't want to continue, then AEW will look for a new partner. Ukes almost will certainly sign on for it, is even pushing for it, once the AEW is nervous about a long-term deal. So already off the bat, this points that this was a fucking mess. And I'm willing to bet money it was because of Omega. Because a bunch of decisions that were made are just like, ugh. And then this is confirmed more here when Kenny went on. I'm not going to play the video. I've seen the video. It's just pretty much just a transcript of it. So he's talking about how the blood thing, it's totally coming. I'm not sure how much we have to scale it back, but man, I loved it. Like, that was your top priority, was to get a bunch of blood in the game versus getting like game modes and creation suites that people have been accustomed to for decades. At this point, you thought getting the extra blood was what people wanted. What we getting? It could be gory. No one is getting dismembered. Well, I'd hope not. I mean, it's not Soldier of Fortune. It's a fucking wrestling game. It says, what our guys do best is the animator, the guys from Aki. Having those guys cook up animations to correct old animations and kind of seminar the Ukes people into how to go about doing their stuff rather than mocap, but taking the point of articulation to show the generation of movement or philosophy of force is kind of an ongoing process. Yeah, this was another thing too, which I will be confirmed later on. These guys fucked themselves from the beginning because they decided to use hand-drawn instead of motion capture. And that fucked everything up. That delayed everything. All because of this. And did that come across, folks? Could you tell the difference between motion capture, which is what's in 2K, versus this? Or at the very least, obviously there's a difference. Would you say that what they did looks better than how 2K looks? It sucks the rating held us back a bit because we really wanted to get it out. The longer time goes by, the finished product is just going to be a bit dated. Each week has its own set of physics, and that's a challenge. If a chair great, doesn't mean a chair... But, like, yeah, this is basic programming shit. Like, anyone could tell you this. Or, like, you know, anyone who's done programming, which I've done for nearly 20 years. Not game programming, let me throw that out there. But I know what I deal with is complicated, so whatever the game people have to deal with is even worse. The game is glitch-free. Well, you kind of screwed up there, too. Now, this thing here, this to me is like the fucking, like, the smoking gun here. This guy here, Nick, is a main developer on the game. Well, let's...
of AEW and professional wrestling.
This guy here is just licking their balls.
Fight Forever. It's right around the corner, June 29th. You know, all the major platforms.
And this happened
better to talk about the game
on
than
the week before.
For THQ Nordic. We have David here, David Knudsen, And from AEW, Senior Vice President for Business Development, Partnerships, and Video Games, and everything in between. I'm sure he wears many hats also on top of all that, being part of professional wrestling. Nick Sobek, how's it going?
Okay, so what David actually is, I looked him up. And I'm not going to pull it up on screen because this is his LinkedIn account, which he put up there, but I'm not doing it because you have to log in, and I'm not fucking risking showing shit. So he's the Senior Licensing and Marketing Manager at THQ. Specialties have launched the following titles in studio production roles: Monster Jam, Steel Titans, MTX versus ATV. There's a bunch of those. And then, so there's a bunch of those. Then Legends of WrestleMania, SmackDown vs. Raw, 2010, 2009, 2008, and 2007. This was back when THQ still had the license. So basically, he's the guy who is in charge of making sure that the games that have licenses with them are done right. Or he's like the one kind of in charge of that.
Good, Scott. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
So-
thanks, Matt. We're excited.
Yeah, something that you had kind of pictured and visualized for right from the start of AEW. Just talk about what it means to you to kind of be at this stage, and just what it means, just kind of the things and the journey in itself. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah, listen to this.
Sure, I'd love to. First of all, I love Kenny Omega. He and I have been working on this game together for the last
Makes one of us,
3.5
pal.
years, pretty much every day. You mentioned at the top of the interview, people have been waiting for this game. And first of all, it's flattering to hear that, and we hope it's true. But just one note, because one of the number one questions is like, what's taking you guys so long? So here's what I'll say to that. We made a decision to hand animate every single wrestling move in this game. A lot of games, especially simulators, pretty much all the sports games today, they use motion capture. We decided not to do that, and we think it's worth the investment, and we think it's worth it from a player experience standpoint.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
The reason everyone uses motion capture is because it's fucking 2020. It's the 2020s. We don't need to animate anymore. Motion capture is so much easier. What was it that you couldn't do with motion capture that you could do with hand drawing? And that was probably one of the big things of complaint at Ukes was like, what the fuck do you mean we have to draw this shit? Why wouldn't we motion capture it? So that's the delay, folks. That's why this game, part of the reason why it's in the state it's in, is because they made that stupid decision, and rather than adjust their timeline or do anything like that, they just said, no, we want it to be like this. It's like, bro, do you need to understand how fucking business works?
But to answer your earlier question about sort of how did this whole thing get started, I was the first employee of AEW, and on day one of AEW, we spent a lot of money.
Okay, so this is him this is kind of irrelevant. All he does is talk about how they convinced Tony Khan to make the game.
All decisions based on data I do really
This
well.
really doesn't
Part
matter.
of our 29th is
Trust
right
me.
around the corner.
It's crazy when you talk about these milestones and you forget, AEW starting in 2019, and we have a video game coming out, people, like a quality video game. I mean, it's just insane when a property this young is able to kind of pull out a product like this. So I think just taking a step back and appreciating
What does that say behind
is
him? I
just
never really
incredible
thought to
from
go
my
and look.
standpoint. And someone who has played video games for THQ video games dating back to the days of WCW versus the World, WCW NW Revenge. And then David talked about, SmackDown versus Raw and all the games that he was a part of. So David, just kind of tell me
Listen
what
to
you guys
this.
have taken from the past. What did you learn from putting into
listen to what
worked? Of course, people love
Mr.
No
David
Mercy,
says here.
back in the day. So, and obviously there's a lot of things that were inputted from the past. Just talk a little about what went into that as you came on board for this project.
So with Nick and Kenny, when we came on, the game was well into production, and I have to say,
No, development is the word you're looking for.
for AEW's first game and for them.
Okay, wait, hold on, listen to this.
With Nick and Kenny, when we came on, the game was well into production, and I have to say, for AEW's first game and for them in their first venture of a video game.
Notice this pause. He's trying to figure out what the fuck to say.
The progress that they had made and where it was at, you would have thought that they had been making these games longer than I had.
You lying sack of shit! You lying sack of shit! You lying sack of shit!
Just the thought that they had put out to it, the organization that they had, it was amazing. And
you lying sack of
shit! I know
shit!
I'm getting off track here a little bit, but just to say a little bit about AEW, and Nick's bigger than me, but I'm not scared. But these guys, I've never worked with a licensor where you feel like you're a part of the family instantly. So within the first couple of weeks, it felt like
we're probably not going to play Halo. I don't know what we're playing yet.
Day one, and they are some of the quickest turnarounds, some of the most passionate people, and some of the smartest people of an organization I've ever gotten to work with. So it really made. We came on to help finish the game up. With our experience, they had everything they needed to make the meal. They just needed to know how to put it together. And that's kind of where we came in, is just to kind of help finalize the game. But really, it was AEW that really saw the vision of this and was able to fill in, like Nick was talking about, this portion of the market that's missing. And you're seeing this in all of our social posts and videos that we're putting up, is everybody's like, I've missed this. I didn't know I missed this until I saw that these are the games that I used to play and love to play with my friends. And it's coming back in just a couple of weeks on June 29th.
Okay, so let's translate this. Okay, what he's really saying was this game was getting over budget, over time, all this shit. They brought him in and they told him, listen, scrap together whatever the fuck you can, turn it into something resembling a cohesive game, and get it out the fucking door. That's what his job was. He didn't go and it wasn't just, getting the thing together. No, this was fucking, they took a bunch of people making a bunch of food and shit, and then threw it into a food court. Yeah, David is being I know programmers speak. I know how, what's he gonna say? He's not gonna be honest. He's not gonna go and say, oh yeah, this was a complete fucking mess, and they brought me in because I've dealt with this shit before, and I guarantee you there was probably a bunch of grind, a whole bunch of shit they had to do to get this thing ready, to get it out. And I'm not even talking about modern grind or crunch, rather. I'm talking about the old school crunch, the fucking 12-hour work days, working on weekends. They probably had to bust their asses to get this thing out the door, because nothing that I've seen leads me to believe that this was planned well, managed well, anything like that. And we are finally coming to the end of this thing, folks. This is why I'm worried for the future of this game. And anyone who is interested in this game or has bought it already and is kind of okay, yeah, well, Kenny said that more stuff is coming. They said, just wait, we're adding more stuff over time. He's kind of feeding you bullshit. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to, and he's talking about, we're going to release tweaks and shit. It's no, you need to finish the game first. You are not adding content to this game. You are finishing the game. To give you another example, Street Fighter V versus Street Fighter VI. A week into Street Fighter V's launch, they were still finishing the game. Street Fighter VI, that is clearly a finished game. They are now adding content to that game because they're adding another character. They're tweaking what they currently have. That's the big difference. Anyone who buys this game, you are not getting a base set product that is going to grow and expand. No, what you have is a unfinished puzzle that they're going to finally put in all the missing pieces in. So they can be ta-da, it's an actual game now. So if you all can take anything from this, is this game worth it now? No, it is not. AEW Fight Forever, even if it costs $30, I still wouldn't recommend it. Just because, here's the other example. This is one of the reviews I wanted to show. Because honestly, why would I go and do that? Why would I pay $60 and wait for them to patch in a better create a wrestler, better create an arena, even trios matches, when I can just, for the same price, get 2K and look at this. I can basically make all in here. I apologize that the things don't match up perfectly. But, like, look at this.
Wheeler from Asheville, North Carolina, weighing in at 233 pounds.
Yeah, like, look at this.
Wheeler.
This is a competitive look of focus and
Look how much
determination
better
on his
this
face. He wants to
looks.
show the world
Like,
that he
what,
can
like,
compete on
again,
this
I
high
can get
level.
a better AEW experience, and I can tweak this even more. I can, like, get rid of that AEW or WWE thing there. Okay, this next part I need to be very careful with. Like, look at even how Kenny comes in.
Guts to stand up for weighing in at 218 pounds. Kenny Omega.
Look how much cooler that looked.
Opposition.
And, like, even listen to how this announcement goes.
Cucamonga, California. And from Rancho Cucamonga, California, weighing in at
Even they know Rancho Cucamonga. And again, it looks like them. So I can do this now. I can have the match that everybody wants to have, or at least the majority of people in AEW on both sides want to have. This is the match we want to headline All In Wembley. I can do this now in 2K, and I could do it in the last 2K game. I can't make AEW dream matches in the AEW game. And yes, you could argue, well, I don't like the simulative style. Fair enough. But you know what? A lot of people like me are fine with it. And that's the saddest part of this. With this game, we waited 3 years or however long it was on this thing, and still the best overall, I mean, gameplay aside, if you're looking for authenticity of, you know, being there, which is what we always looked for when we were playing these wrestling games. What do we always want? We wanted the closest presentation, the closest style to what we saw on TV. And here we got the whole team. We have regular announcements. We have the announcers saying stuff back and forth during the match. Even though it's generic, it's still there. And we can't do this in the AEW game. So my final verdict of AEW Fight Forever is wait a year and then consider buying it, because they have not earned the $60. They have not earned $60 from anyone here. They've barely even earned 30. Oh yeah, I should mention the one other thing. Thanks. Actually, no one mentions, but let's look at this thing here. This is a kickstarted game, okay? Where's that intro thing? Yeah, like, look at this. I don't know if this is copywritten or not. Probably isn't, but the music you don't really need. Look how good this looks already. Look at that. Wow, actual arenas. There's Madison Square Garden. Look, you can use the impact ring. And this is just like some kickstarted project, okay, I guess I need to, for full transparency, look at it. You can have a UFC ring. I funded this. I backed this game. So you can call me a shill or whatever you want. I didn't even know this was a thing until recently. And that's what they said. They said, no, we are sticking more with that. But even control schemes aside, like, this already has more stuff in it. And this is going to be like a $20, $30 game. That's probably not even going to get a physical release. And not only that too, but remember how I mentioned how there was so little that was actually said? Due August? No, didn't you see? This isn't coming out till 2024. But look at this though. Look what these guys do. Look at this. They just do Q&As.
Quite remember the way that FirePro do it. I would need to look into it. I've already harassed you about running. Am I missing a question? No. I've already harassed you.
Like,
about
look at this
running
openness and
grapple finishers,
transparency.
for like Hogan and Warrior, etc.
I mean, you could argue it's not the same situation because this is crowdfunded, so there might be a greater expectation of transparency.
We were talking about this, so yeah.
But like, still, it's
character changes. Do you mean like the? You mean like actually seeing like bruises and
he actually will. I've seen some of the stuff. We're not going to go much longer. I'm going to be wrapping up this video. But he goes into and talks about like technical challenges, and when people request stuff, and he might be like, okay, well, here's the thing. In this situation, it doesn't work as well, or it's a lot harder than it sounds. You know, stuff like that. If Fight Forever is not in a better state by the time this game comes out, that is going to be a major L. And I think AEW fans are going to be pissed. And they're going to be like, well, wait a minute. Why should we buy the AEW game when this has what we were really looking for in the first place? So, like I said, folks, here's the thing. Is Fight Forever fun? Yeah, it's fun. But you need more than just fun. This idea of, oh, well, as long as the gameplay is good as no. That's not how this works, pal. How many times have we seen games in the past, guys, where like there was a good gameplay loop or a main gameplay loop, but you were doing the same shit over and over again. So eventually you got bored. I mean, look, Doom is a fantastic game, but eventually Doom, when it came out, the original, was a fun game. We all got a little bit bored after we beat the shareware, 10 times. After going through going through episode 1 again and again and again. But if you don't add more variety to support that good gameplay loop, then you're destined. You're gonna wither on the vine. Tell me when I'm telling lies. So, by some miracle, if anyone, and also, how did I forget too? One last thing. I apologize that this review is so schizophrenic. I mean, this is literally being done on the fly and with my own technical difficulties. But let's go back to this thing here. Let's see what we're getting next. We're getting this. We're getting fucking Fortnite with wrestling. This is what we're getting, folks. Like, we're not getting a roadmap, not anything about. Now, I'm not saying this is necessarily coming next from them, but the fact that they think this is what everyone wants, and again, stay tuned. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Stay tuned. That doesn't mean anything. That's been the running line for like the entire Fight Forever release cycle. Stay tuned. Like, is this next on their list of priorities? Because I'm sorry, again, yeah, that looks kind of goofy and fun. I wouldn't mind trying it out in a game, but I'd rather be able to make a more robust character. I'd rather be able to do a steel cage match. I'd like to be able to go and recreate the time limit draws or the I Quit matches that we've had in the past. Or like that great Iron Man match that, what's his name, MJF was in. Can't do any of that. You know where you can do it though? 2K22 and 2K23. And I'm sorry, Omega, anyone on the thing can listen to this. You guys got to get your shit in order, because this is the year of our Lord 2023. There's you can't just sell this as it's AEW. You need more than that. And you don't even again, we're beating a dead horse here, but which, as I say, is Hangman's on his. But if you can't nail the fundamentals, don't try to do what is it Cornette and all these, you know, out of touch people always say. You have to have strong fundamentals before you start doing the flippy, fun, goofy shit. This game is like AEW in a fucking nutshell. And I'm sorry if this, I'm sure this is pissing off people who might have stumbled onto this review later on. But this game is fundamental. This is lacking in fundamentals, and it needs them. This thing is this needs to be brought back on course, folks. And needs to be, unless we either hear about some crazy shakeup in the management or just someone who can redirect it or bring in another team. I don't know what they can do to salvage this. And I want this to be salvaged. I don't want this to fail. You saw me. I was having fun. Like I said, I would love to be able to have my LWA streams jump over to this instead. I knew it probably wasn't going to be able to, but the idea I could have this crazy ass shit in it, you know, in intergender matches, oh god. Fucking have Cat fight Phil, or, you know, Kelly fight Wings. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And all the crazy shit, but we don't have that. Because apparently other people thought that it was more important to have hand-drawn animations and minigames. We had to sacrifice a genuinely good wrestling package for some random bells and whistles that literally nobody asked for. Nobody was asking for minigames. Nobody was... I mean, okay, if the barbed wire thing, like, I don't think anyone was really asking for that. Again, it's okay that they have it, but just this is so underbaked, so incomplete, and I don't have much faith in this. And I would love for Kenny or someone to come out, and if by some miracle you see this, you gotta say something, man. Like, you need to do something, because even though maybe a group of people really like the thing, like, I'm sorry, you have a fucking 64 rating on OpenCritic, which is kind of ironic when you think about it. 64, you know, considering what the inspiration was. You got a fucking 64 rating, a bunch of, you know, awful looking professional reviews. Also, bad reviews on YouTube. I've seen a number of AEW hardcore fans just saying, like, sorry guys, I love AEW, but I don't love this game. And, you know, I want them to fix this, but with what they got now, you know, I want this to be good. We all want this to be good. But with this staff, with this management, with this roadmap, or lack thereof, I don't see it happening. And that's sad, because I think that AEW, we all deserve it as wrestling gaming fans. We deserve something besides just WWE, like on a grand scale. We don't have that, and we still don't have it because of this. And, you know, again, tell me when I'm telling lies. And that's it, folks. Review over. Thank you if you happen to actually have watched this on YouTube from beginning to end. This took a while to make. I had scripts written. I wasted a bunch of time come up with a good opinion on this. I tried to be as nice as possible as I was writing this, but the more I did it, I just got angrier and more frustrated at what I was. The deeper I dug, the less happy I was in supporting or trying to defend this game. And, you know, again, if you're interested in this game at all, wait. And I don't even mean wait for a sale. I mean wait until the game is done, because it's not done. And also, just one final thing: there's no guarantee that this game will ever be finished. Okay, at some point, Ukes or anyone involved could just say, "You know what? Fuck this," and walk away. And then you're gonna be left with an unfinished game. Just because THQ and Kenny say, "Oh, we're in it for the long haul," that means dog shit. Okay. BioWare was in it for the long haul when it came to Anthem. Crystal Dynamics or Square Enix, whatever, was in the was going to be there for the long term with the Avengers. And what happened? Both those things fucking died. So don't just take Kenny's word or THQ's word, because they're just do it. Because what are they going to do? Be honest and be like, yeah, probably like. If things don't turn around soon, we're just going to abandon this. No, they're not going to say that. You can't say that. It's all just gamer speak. And you all need to recognize that. And you need to call out. I'm not saying harass. Not saying harass. But honestly, call out, you know, Omega and anyone else who's been pushing this game. Call out Aubrey or Donald Stevens, whatever they're going by nowadays. And be like, what is this? Why did this come out like this? Because I am upset that you are that you made us wait all this time, and now you're charging us $60 for this, when I can get better experiences for cheaper. We as not even this game offends me more as a video game fan than as a wrestling fan, which is really saying something. I mean, I could ramble on more and more, but already people are leaving. So, anyways, folks, if you stayed here for this long, thank you. If you like the video, you know, leave a like. If I said anything wrong, or if I have anything wrong about this thing, please let me know in the comments. I have no problem with being proven wrong and updating, you know, where appropriate. But, you know, give a like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Follow me on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/yourbeliefs316. Your beliefs, just like the thing here. And I hope I will see a bunch of you all later. And I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay safe.